And welcome back to the VIP Business Talk Show. For those of you just tuning in, I'm Emilio Zinno with my lovely co-host Johanne Serpone. We're talking about food and security and all these things that, seem to worry society in general. And this is where our third subject matter picks up on how you can contribute to society. Now, I know this sounds very political. Believe me, we're not politicians, and I'm not one to be, very pro-politics. But I will say this. I don't care who you are, unless you're sick, mentally or physically sick, where you cannot work, please get off that couch. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. You're not the only one. There's millions of people that are in bad situations. Johanne sees a lot of them when they walk in through her office as a bankruptcy attorney, trustee up here in Canada. The thing you have to do is really, really lock yourself in a quiet moment and say to yourself, what am I good at? What am I good at? Because God, the Almighty, gave us all a talent on something that we're good at. And that's where you have to figure out, I'm good at doing this or that, and then looking out for people that are in need of such a talent. Or have a secondary talent if you're not good at the primary talent, and contribute to society. Because folks, let me tell you something. We all need money. And nowadays, if you're not, depending on where you're living, but here in North America, if you're not making at least $100 a day, gross obviously, you're in trouble. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Johanne can tell you this. You're in trouble. Yeah. And we're not asking you to unveil your, darkest secrets. And we all have frustrations because, yeah, sure, I'd like to be, the talk show host on a CBS conglomerate, but it hasn't happened yet. So you know what? In the meantime, I'm talking to you via the internet, which is for me is a great advancement. Being able to reach out to you guys, from radio to TV, exactly. So we all have something to offer according to what the talent that we bear.
I agree with you, and what happens is like the way you indicated it, Dawn, to get some of our listeners out there to get going and get moving, because there's something out there for everyone. So it's just to find your little niche and to explore.
And not only that,
maybe advertise.
No, but I'm just saying
what you're doing.
Yeah, but I'm saying they have to feel comfortable.
I'm doing
and there's
it.
no embarrassment, folks. Believe me, there's no embarrassment in whatever work that you do. Even washing dishes in a restaurant, take pride in it because you are making that money. You are making, for example, that $100 per day, and you are contributing to society. And what I said on one of the radio shows, Johanne, if you recall, imagine if and we're talking North America because our show is predominantly caters to North Americans or people from across the world that would like to know what happens in North America. What's the business mentality? Because we're getting more and more. Actually, we're getting people from China visiting our show. I don't know how they get a hold. I guess they Google us because we're very highly placed on Google. We're number one as far as business talk shows, and we're very, very proud of that. Believe me, we worked hard to get that kind of ranking. But anyways, enough bragging. I want to get back to you guys. If you guys earn as little as $100 a day and you would reinvest that by spending $50 a day. Imagine if every North American were to spend an average of $50 a day, which it seems a lot, yet it's not a lot. We wouldn't have this economic problem going around. Believe me, we wouldn't have it. Everything would be flowing because I know that when I get extra money, I turn around and spend it. And a message that I'd like to take advantage, you guys in government, stop it with this high taxing system. Rich Smith, our VIP Business Insider, said on the show last night, and by the time you hear this show, it'll be a week ago, he said, Don, he sincerely believes that a flat tax system would work in the States because it's like, You know, it's like I buy yogurt. Here's a perfect example. I buy yogurt ice cream. Why? It's got half the calories. But guess what? Because it has half the calories, I eat double the portion and it packs up on my belly. Same thing with money. The more disposable income that you have, the more you have a tendency of spending that money, and that money goes to great use, helping stimulate the economy. So I don't have to be some Harvard professor in business economics to understand that. As a college dropout, I use my common sense that money is made to spend and invest.
It's made to circulate.
And if you hold on to your money and stingy, like some of you stingy people out there, I'm sorry, the economy doesn't like you stingy people. I'm sorry, you know, or some of the very, very rich that, you know, don't want to give their money out. That's not nice. Everybody deserves a right to feed their family, and this is what we were talking about off air. So, in other words, the theme of this third segment is all about contributing to society. You can contribute in many ways. Many ways. Sure. I wish I had $1 million in my bank account. I'd probably create a job or two. I'd probably help someone that, you know, has potential. I wouldn't enslave people like some of you, pardon the expression, mother effers out there would like to think that you control everything just because you got all the big bucks. That's not nice. In cahoots, you know, like some of the Wall Street boys, you know, and that brings up another subject matter, contributing to society. You know, I see these people coming, and while you're watching the show, here's an election thought for you. Some of these banks are going to call out to government, you know, for bailout money, and then they're going to turn around and give themselves fat bonuses instead of hiring people, or turn around and funnel that money off some offshore account. You know what?
That's history. That's always like what happens in
governments and these big Wall Street guys. Yeah. This is fraud. F-R-A-U-D. This is fraud. Total fraud. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be contributing to society, and then the average layman's will bring you more money. The more disposable income they have, the more money they bring in your fat pockets. But some of you, I guess, you think you're God's given gift to the business world, but you know, you can't see further than your noses because you have no vision. You were lucky or something like that. At least that's what I think. Johanne, take it from there.
Well, myself, what I find is for sure, Don, if money has to be circulated, so we turn around and we make a living, we earn what we have, and you know, we have to have something for savings, for everything. But like we can't just turn around and, like, you know, every once in a while we do go out and get to that restaurant and spend on that extra maybe product that we need around the home, or maybe take that trip that has to be taken, because you know, like, you just taking a trip, you've got your so many jobs that have you created, like, you know, your travel agency, your flights, your trip, your food, your clothing, whatever that has been done. So every once in a while we need to have everything circulated and to have a very well-balanced life that we have. But the important thing, I think, Don, is you're right, as when you started this segment, the important thing too is for some listeners out there viewing the economy that it's so bad. We have a tendency, because what I find and experience a little bit around now is because we're so discouraged, we seem to really sit on our couches and not do anything. So, you know, whatever, you know, we have $1, as long as we're eating something, we're done. So, yes, you're right, Don, as you started, that you opened in this segment, we need to get out there and we need to use our talents and we need to start moving and start working. Because if we're going to go through this era that is coming around us here in maybe the next year or 2 years that are difficult times, we need to turn around and lift our spirits. And the way we're going to lift it is we're going to earn that extra bucks. Like, this way we can spend that extra 50 cents and feel a little better of ourselves and not be so down with so much gloom that's going all around.
Folks, we're going to be taking our last break here on the VIP Business Talk Show. When we come back, it's definitely WAS time, WAS wrap-up time. And we're going to be talking about a theory of mine, a vision of mine, United States of North America. That's right, you heard it for the very first time here on the VIP Business Talk Show. So more when we come back.